All right. Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good evening. Whatever it is for you. This is David with another installment of the Sacred Clown Tarot. This reading is for Leo. This is a timeless reading, Leo. So whenever you're finding it, it's meant for you. If it doesn't seem to resonate, then watch another video. I could care less. But I hope this resonates with you. And we'll go from there. So whether it's your sun, your moon, your Mercury, maybe you have a whole bunch just throughout your chart, Leo, this is your shit, okay? I pulled some archetype cards to get the main energies, and we'll see what's going on from there. The underlying energy for you is the underworld. It's at the bottom of the deck for the archetypes. I'm going to tap into that a little bit. So this is like the underbelly of a situation that you don't want to look at, or that you just now started to look at. I feel like it's the worms that are under the mat or something like that, if that makes any sense to you. Or like, I don't know. It's gonna be the vibe of like if you had like a above ground pool and you put it over your yard, the grass or whatever's underneath that above ground pool is now mushy and brown and dirty, and like there's just earthworms poking out. That's the vibe I'm getting from the underworld right now. So you're exposing something and all this stuff is coming up now. You can see it on the surface. And it's giving a little wiggly, wormly vibe. For some reason, it felt like I had worms coming out of my brain and feeling that card. So that's the underlying energy. We'll see what that means as we draw our other cards. Our first one is the fault line. All right. At the center, we have the cave. That kind of looked like it wanted to be right upside down, but there's the cave there at the center. And then we have the one that also looked like it wanted to be red upside down. So we'll tap into this. A lot of black and white energy with minimal color, but red is prominent. All right, a lot of black and white. So we got this one with hints of red, mainly black and white. Let's see what's going on. All right, start with the fault line. So I heard the word breaking point when I first picked this up. I heard breaking point and then I heard a riff. So something is reaching its breaking point. Either you can't handle something anymore, or you're seeing that the structural integrity, if you will, of a situation, of a business, of a relationship, of a situation is reaching its breaking point. And there might be a rift between you and something else, or the dynamic in general might speak to a rift and starting to crumble. And maybe this is now being exposed, the underworld. All right, it's like the world is splitting open and then the underworld is being exposed. So whether this is your personal life or the world around you that you're noticing, shit is coming up to the surface. And it's unsavory ground, so it's quaking a little bit, right? It's a little rocky right now. Perhaps you don't know which side you're standing on. And you feel like you have to pick a side there, Leo. You're going to have to pick one side or another. And I feel like you're comfortable doing it, but you're just overwhelmed by the magnitude, which is understandable when you're facing an earthquake. All right? That's the first underlying energy. We're going to tap into the cave and see what that has to say. Right? So this is truth and insight that comes to the forefront from this riff, from this breaking point, from this separation, if you will, is what wanted to come to mind now, thinking back to this. I think these are all kind of speaking to the same thing. So this is like the start of it. This needs to split open, right? You don't want it to, or the people around you might not want it to. But this San Andreas, this fault line, needs to break. And this is the call of it from what's behind it, right? Because it needs to be exposed, needs to be witnessed, needs to be seen. There's insight to be had there. And if you look closely at this, right, there's eyes looking at you. So it's calling you in. And even though you don't want this breaking point to happen, you don't want this falling apart, this schism, if you will, but there's knowledge and insight to be garnered, to be gathered from this breaking away that's happening. And it's almost like attempting, almost like you kind of want to see it crumble, but you don't like the side effects, right? You don't like the like I said, the magnitude of the effects. But you realize in your heart of hearts that there's something that wants to be witnessed, something that wants to be seen coming to the forefront. And this energy and this are kind of synonymous to me. I think if you go into the cave, you'll see all this. And there's some ugly shit in the underworld, but it needs to be witnessed. And you'll kind of recognize the coolness of what it is and why it's coming to the forefront, why it's being exposed. Like once you sink your teeth into it, yeah, there's going to be some stuff that you weren't expecting. But I think what's meant to be discovered is still palatable, if that makes any sense. It's not a thing that you yourself can't handle. You might see that those around you might not be able to handle it, but I think you have the ability to hold your ground while all this stuff comes to light. And it might be stuff that you already know about, but you're holding back, or once you discover it, you might feel the temptation, to keep your mouth shut, and that's okay. Just follow your intuition, but something's coming online for you. You're getting a spark, inspiration from this new awareness that you're going to find in the cave once it either sucks you in or once you decide to willingly enter into it. All right, we're going to move on to this last one, which is the 1. Let's see what it has to say. Okay, so this could be a couple things. Because this wanted to be read upside down for me. This is 30. And I felt like whatever this is, whether this is a schism for yourself or a relationship, partnership, workplace situation, whatever it is, your whole reality, there was a false sense of self. And what I really got was a false sense of unity. All right? It was not a truly unified field. And you're not able to appreciate that until you've stepped into the cave and garnered the insight. And now you can see it much more clearly. That whatever sense of unity there was, whether that was in yourself, right, and how you looked at yourself, it was upside down. And while you were glowing still, right, because you're a Leo, you'll speak your minds even if your mind is not made right. You'll have other people's convinced that your way is the right way, just because of your expression, your conviction. But you're realizing up until this point, you had it kind of backwards or upside down, or that because the pieces weren't all there, you were misguided in your approaches. And that doesn't mean that you were dishonest, right? You just didn't have all the information. You were still showing up to the fullest capability of what you could. You're just realizing now that it's not going to be made right until all this other stuff comes to light, and that you can't fully embody this unity with yourself, or this unity with your partner, or any potential unity with any community or group until you fully embody the truth of what's coming to the light, what you're beginning to now see. Because it was like this, right? And you will make it like this once these realizations of the truth are integrated into your system, so to speak. So those are the early messages, and we're going to dive into the clarifiers, but I think you have the capability. This isn't a rush process. It's kind of like a natural, gradual unfolding. No one has to push you into it, or you don't even have to take a willing leap, because this is an inevitability, right? The San Andreas is going to happen. The fault line is there, being drawn. It's just a matter of time before the breaking, before the schism happens. And you can pick whatever side you want, but you're still going to learn. If you choose the wrong, I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong side or a right side. I think there is going to be a side that's best for you in your development. And no matter what side you pick, you're still going to learn. You're still going to integrate. And you're going to learn why that was the good choice or a bad choice for you. But the best choice is to willingly integrate any of the information that comes your way and not be resistant to it, and kind of use that information, that insight, as a mentor so that you have a better understanding of yourself and how the situation transpires and goes and prevails from here. Because you're not going to find wholeness until you integrate this newfound awareness, if that makes any sense. All right, we're going to start diving into clarifier so that we can kind of ground this energy, this archetypal energy, a little bit more. First up, we have the Chariot. Next up, oh my goodness. Next up, we have the Three of Wands. At the center, we have the Queen of Cups. After that, we have Page of Swords. The last one we have is the World card, full circle. And it was 11:21 right as I picked that up, and this is the 21st card, the last of the major arcana. And then the underlying energy we have is the Two of Wands. New possibilities. Sitting, waiting, hoping for new things to arrive and show up. And underneath that we have the Lovers. All right, let me tap into this Two of Wands to see if it wants to present us with any insight as to the whole message for you. Excuse me. So you see this Two of Wands as the two sides in this rift, in the fault line. I'm kind of picking one, because you'll eventually have to pick one, right? And it looks like you have your hand on one, and then he's holding a globe in the other. So it's like your world is kind of split in two, and he's kind of keeping a mindful eye of that. It's like, what is the next and best possibility? One is behind him in the past. Sorry, hold that up for you. One is clearly behind him, and he holds the other one in his hand with the world in his other, knowing that that's the best for his worldview, and you're getting there, which is great. So that kind of just validates the message. So first one we had was the Chariot. That's number 7 of the major arcana. We'll tap into that. Whatever this is, whether it's a force, whether this is an action, a person, I don't think it is. I just think this is quick, sudden movement or a burst, kind of like the force that broke the camel's back, the straw that broke the camel's back, and what caused this rift or this fault line to happen. Whether we want to see this as a meteor, as just tectonic pressure, so to speak, was a force that came in and has now created this rift. Higher insight, higher movement, higher level of passion. Just momentum, forward progression momentum kind of caused the fault line to happen. This is something, I want to say passionate, but not even really. It's just something that was forthright that came in and just created that fault line. Now it's left you to consider what the opportunities are, what is coming in, what's on the horizon. What's coming on the horizon is a rift. I think this is kind of like divine intervention or spirit or something kind of just coming in and stirring stuff up, saying, hey, there's time for renewal, time to go on to higher and better things. And now it's left you in this energy, so I'm just going to tap in real quick. Yeah, this is the reconsideration of what's on the horizon, what's to come. Waiting for the ships to come in with patience. Like, so you're not trying to hurry anything. You know the inevitability of the situation. You know that you're going to have to make a decision. You just want to see how it unfolds before you, like, pick one so assuredly. Red is, in my eyes, like kind of spiritual knowledge, and green can be kind of naivete, freshness, new insight. But I see this as like you don't have the whole picture together, and there's a piece of you that, even though you want to surrender to spiritual insight and wisdom, there's a piece of you that still is just green. You don't know what this newness is, and you kind of have to be humble as you wait. Ships are coming in, you just don't know what cargo those ships have. It could be spices, it could be gold, it could be wild exotic animals from another place. I don't know, I'm thinking of that. But you just have to wait patiently to see how this crack unfolds. All right. Queen of Cups is at the center of the reading, so we're going to tap into that, Leo. This is just a gentle reminder just to do and pick whatever makes your heart feel full. Like, you're not like, no one's expecting you to display Queen of Cups energy. But what feeling or what path or what person provides this sensation for you of assuredness, of emotional abundance and tranquility, of assuredness, of hospitality. I was going to say hospitality, of nurturance. This is such just beautiful energy. I love the Queen of Cups. She's here saying, like, what makes you feel like warm? Like, what decision or what outlook makes you feel like you're being held by your mother? Or if you didn't have a good relationship with your mother, the mother that you never had, the aunt figure, the grandma, the lady at your workplace that makes cookies or that gives the best hugs. It's like that kind of energy. What brings you to a spot where you feel like you're going to be rest assured and known and heard for what it is? Through all these trials, through all these tribulations, through all of this quagmire, through this schism, what side of the fault line makes you feel emotionally fulfilled? And that's the insight that you're gathering from this cave. I think you're kind of getting in touch with the feminine, and no need to get into semantics and visuals of what the cave is. I mean, because I think a case can be said for coming in contact with the feminine by entering the cave. Not to explore that metaphor too richly, but the essence of the feminine spirit, a Queen of Cups, is going to be found in that energy by exploring and having patience with the cave energy of kind of walking in slowly but surely and letting the wisdom of the earth be revealed to you. Going in that cave, it looks like it's almost like, if you look very closely, you can hardly see it, but there's little itty bitty little flexes. And for me, that's the water that's dripping down in the cave. That's kind of created that opening, that hole in the space to begin with. You're able to walk through and be nourished again. It's like finding a drink in a cave when you feel like you're going to find it in the ocean or a stream, but you go into the cave, into the heart of the earth, and that's where you find it. The heart of the matter is being revealed, and you're stepping into it with bravery and honesty, and that is what's providing emotional fulfillment in full circleness. And that's where the World card shows up. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Page of Swords is what's next. All right. Tapping into that real quick. This is just the new and fresh vision, all right, of what's being communicated from everything else gathered. You just have to have one simple, small idea to be brave. All you need is the braver of the page. Just to be like, hey, this is how I'm looking at the situation now. All this went down. I've got this insight from the Queen of Cups. No one's expecting you to present like a Queen of Cups. It's just the level that's being presented to you. All you have to do is communicate with the simplicity of the page. Like, hey, I have this insight now. I've made this realization. It doesn't have to be a grand conclusion or idea or a game plan strategy. No, 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 no. Just the simple realization that, hey, I looked at things wrong. This is how I'm seeing it now. Hey, I've realized this now. I've had this realization. I've had this new insight. And communicate it. And not be afraid of it. To admit that you see things in a different way. Now that you're on the other side of this equation, or you've chosen a side of the schism, of the fault line, just be willing to say, hey, this is why I made this decision. This is why I'm looking at things this way now. And just take pride in that decision. And that's when things really come full circle and you get to reap the rewards. This is as full circle as it gets, the world. All right, we're going to tap into that real quick. I'm just hearing this is the brand new day. This is the new sunshine. This is kind of feeling the warmth of the sun in a whole new way. It seems almost like, like this whole process was redundant because you could see it coming. But it's like at the end of it, you're grateful that it all happened. You're grateful that there was the rift, that there was a split, that there was the bifurcation in judgment or of a company or of a relationship. But by getting to the heart of the matter, you see it fully now. Because I think even though it was full, it was only an illusion of being full, and you were only getting half of the benefits out of it anyway. But to flip the perspective and realize that it's now whole, right? This one card and this are kind of mirroring the same effect. It's like balance can be restored by finding harmony in the transgressions and in the splitting of the old way. Because you're looking at it in a new light. And that new light brings you emotional fulfillment and the courage to recognize something anew. And that's the prosperity. The newness, the gratitude, the enrichment of your current status. By being brave enough to renew and find peace in that. Yeah. Because I think what you need to know, Leo, is that you don't have all the answers. And it's just admitting that to yourself. And that's okay. And you, in this moment, you don't have the boldness, the courage to say that you know everything. But that's okay too. There's a nurturance within yourself that needs to be found. But it's coming to the surface. Whether you really throw yourself into the cave, I think the cave is meant to find you. And you're going to come out on the other side restored and anew. All right? I hope that made sense for you. And I think no matter what side you choose, that side will find you correctly, or you'll be corrected no matter what. Just by the willingness to go along with the idea. It's only as if you don't choose any side at all that you're going to fall through the cracks and not be able to pick yourself up. But as long as you choose something, I think your worldview will be righted. What's upside down will be made right. All right? I think you're doing well. Just this requires a little bit of patience and grace with yourself. But you got this, Leo. Hope this message was clear. I love you, my dears. Keep on putting in the good fight. Fuck shit up in the best way. And until then, live in harmony and peace. May peace be with you. Peace out, bitches. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, Leo.